Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Dynamics 365 Tech Talk. Today, the team will be sharing a setup guide to enable the B2B digital selling experience in Dynamics 365. My name is Rob Bertram, and I will be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this session through Teams live event. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Meenu, Laul, and Shalabh, Jain. Meenu, over to you.
Thanks, Rob. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you guys are joining us from. We are excited to present today's Tech Talk on topic, Setup Guide to Enable B2B Digital Selling Experience. As you know, this Tech Talk is a part of the 3 Tech Talk. We had our first Tech Talk on December 5th for B2B Digital Selling Overview, and recording is available in our community site. But today, Tech Talk is focused on B2B Digital Setup Guide for B2B Digital Selling Experience. In the third Tech Talk, we'll focus on implementation consideration for our B2B portal. We would love to see you guys in our third and the last Tech Talk. Let's just get to our first Tech Talk agenda. We'll start with a quick overview of our B2B portal, like what it offers, and then we'll spend some time how it all comes together with the help of architecture. And then we'll dig into the setup and configuration of CSU, e-commerce site, back office, which is F&O, and how we can set up a channel and merchandise for your website. We'll show you a buyer data model and its capabilities, and we'll wrap up the session with additional resources and guidance that you can take with you. As mentioned by Rob, we'll put some time at the end for Q&A, but put your questions in the chat. We'll try to answer as much as we can. So without further ado, let's dive in. Let's do a quick overview. As you know, we want to provide you a high-level capabilities which B2B digital commerce provide. We also covered this. We have covered this detail in our last Tech Talk. Microsoft Dynamic Commerce provides a comprehensive suite of features for B2B commerce site. These features are designed to optimize the workflow of B2B user and provide a seamless, personalized experience. It empowers the customer to decide when, how, and where they want to purchase. It brings a powerful, intelligent, and user-friendly capabilities of B2C commerce to your business partners. Here's some high-level features which commerce provide, like out of the box, quick ordering, order on behalf, account management, customer-specific catalog, and contract pricing. Now we have seen the high-level capabilities. We want to see how it all comes together with the help of architecture. So if you see in the middle of the screenshot, you would see a headless commerce engine or a commerce scale unit, which serve as a central point for all commerce channel, including in-store and e-commerce channel. It also serves as a single point for all third-party channels. It serves as a central integration point for all commerce business logic and powers a complete omni-channel solution across physical and digital stores. Headless Commerce Engine is also shared among the various Dynamics 365 applications, such as Dynamics 365 Commerce, Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management, and Dynamics 365 Finance, as shown in the left of the diagram. It also provides a set of interconnected business processes that user can immediately benefit from. Therefore, there is a seamless flow of business processes across various functions in the organization. On the top right side, you would see the e-commerce site and the site builder. Site builder is a web authoring interface for the content management and the storefront website rendering system. The system is designed to be highly customizable, which also maintained regularly and the serviceable components. So now it shows you all together how headless commerce can help you fully integrate your channels and your back office. Now you get an idea of how B2B digital commerce is connected with F&O and other apps. Let's switch gear and talk about B2B setup. The first thing you would do before you start utilizing any of the B2B, you need to deploy that, right? As a high level, the B2B e-commerce deployment consists of 3 steps. First, you would deploy a CSU from LCS. Then you would do your Azure Active Directory setup. And the third step is doing a deployment of e-commerce site from LCS. So this is the first step. Like you do deploys any other apps from F&O, the same way you'll go to the LCS to deploy your commerce scale unit. So as you know that CSU is the backbone for all commerce channels. So before you deploy any e-commerce channel, you need to deploy the CSU. That's why we are deploying the CSU before deploying the e-commerce. And as any other deployment for FNO or any other, you need to have a project owner permission in LCS before you can initialize a CSU. And you have to make sure you have a retail license configuration key is enabled in your environment. Then only you would see this commerce manage on the right side of the screenshot. Once you do that, you can actually you can add the CSU from there. And when you add it, you can select the region you want to deploy your CSU to. CSU is available in different regions. We have selected Australia East. So depending upon your business, you can select which region you want to put your CSU in, which is for the better connectivity and the coverage for your business. And then you will select a version. We would suggest you to take a latest version, but again, it all depends upon where you have done the testing. According to that, you can decide which version you want to deploy the CSU. Just as a note, you can self-deploy up to 2 CSU per environment. If you need to deploy more than 2 CSU, you can always create a support ticket and do it. So these steps, we have finished doing deployment of CSU. Let's look at the Azure Directory setup. So with Azure Directory, this is a one-time, again, we want to reinstate, this is a one-time setup in which you need to do to deploy your e-commerce. It may seem a little bit overwhelming, but we do have a step-by-step guidance on our Microsoft Docs, which you can follow. The first step you will do is to create your Azure security group. This security group will be used when you create your e-commerce site, which would be an e-commerce system admin. The next one is the Azure B2C tenant, which is required for the site authentication and supports user credentials and authentication flow like sign in, and reset password. The user record in B2C tenant will store either a B2C local account record or a B2C social identity provider record. This B2C records will link back to your customer record in the commerce environment. So you can say this is a way to link your customer to your website user and password. Azure AD B2C stores sensitive user authentication information as mentioned, such as username and password. Once you do your B2C tenant, you will create a B2C application within your Azure Active Directory tenant so that you can interact with the commerce. Next is the user flows. User flows are the policy that used to provide you secure sign-in, sign-up, edit profile, and forget password for the user experience. Dynamics 365 uses these flows to perform a policy interaction to interact with your Azure B2C tenant. So out of the box, Azure provides a default user flow, so you can use that or create your HTML page to control the look and feel of the user flow experience. This is the high-level setup that needs to happen in Azure Active Directory, and these all are step-by-step processes mentioned on our Microsoft Docs, so you can follow that and do that setup. Again, this is only a one-time setup. And the next we'll look at it. We have done the CSU, we have done the Azure Active Directory. Now we are deploying the e-commerce from LCS. So same way you would click on commerce and manage and click on setup. Once you do that, you have to provide all the domain which will be used for your e-commerce website. You can put more than one domains with the help of colon. And once you do that, you're going to put the security group which we created in Azure Directory in here. And that's how you will start initializing your e-commerce channel. So for now, what we have done, we have deployed the CSU, we have done the Azure Active Directory, we have done the e-commerce deployment. So after it's finished initialization, e-commerce site will be available on your LCS. Now let's look at some of the basic commerce setup that needs to be done at the commerce headquarters. Similar to other modules in FNO, we have a parameter setup for commerce. There are two ways. One is the commerce share parameters, which is shared across the legal entity. The other one is the commerce parameter, which is specific to a legal entity. This screenshot talks about adding identity provider in the commerce share parameter. What it does, it helps with the sign-in for the external users without further configuration, and it's syncing back to your CSU. Other thing to notice, this Azure B2C tenant that it stores customer and user password information. So that is how it does the linking of Azure B2C tenant to your FNO environment. So let's look at other commerce setup that is required in FNO. We do have a concept of channel database and channel profile in commerce. Every time you deploy a CSU, a channel database is created which stores the channel database data master and the transactional data. And channel profile gets created itself when you deploy the CSU, which holds all the channel related information. If you see in the diagram, we have shown the FNO DB and the CSU DB, right? As CSU DB stores all the master data and transactional data, From FNO, the download jobs move those sync that data from FNO to CSU. So if let's say if I'm creating a new item, new inventory or anything item, that would be synced to the CSU. Just to understand that how it does, right? Just to understand it, so SQL store all the data with the tracking. So the modification of records are tracked through SQL Server change tracking. So we're only sending the change record instead of sending every single data every single time. Those are called the download jobs. Similar to that, the transactional data get pushed from CSU DB to FNO DB with the help of upload job or a P job, as we say in the commerce terms. You can schedule a P job at the regular interval. As a note, we do not suggest to schedule more than one P job at the same time. If we do a multiple P job are created, then it might cause a table logging or a delay in performance. Although you can schedule a job to be occur multiple times, you can schedule it for very frequently instead of doing a multiple jobs for the P job. So after transactions are pulled in FNO DB, there is a job called synchronize order, which creates an order in your FNO from those transactions. So that is the whole concept of CSU and FNO, and these are all the setup that requires in your back office to have your e-commerce up and running. Now we have looked at the base commerce setup. Let's dig into a channel and the site setup. So in this channel setup, we'll walk you through the channel, the concept of channel. In commerce, channel provide the basic setup for that channel. The functionality profile is utilized between, if you want to share some parameters within channel, then we'll use a functionality profile. That's where we put all the common channel settings within a functionality profile. And after that, you associate your channel to organizational hierarchy. And once you do that, after you did the FNO setup of the channel, you would move to a site builder to associate that channel to an e-commerce site. Dynamics 365 Commerce support multiple retail channels. These retail channels include call center, online store, and the retail store, also known as the brick and mortar store. Call center channel represent call center order and the customer management. Online stores give customer the option of purchasing products from the retailer's online store in addition to a retail store. It supports both business to consumer and business to business e-commerce platform. Brick and mortar store retail channel represents standard brick and mortar store. Each store can have its own point of sale registers, income and expense account, and staff and workers. So let's look at the online channel because we're talking about B2B. So we use online store channel to establish the product, pricing, languages, payment methods, delivery modes, fulfillment center, and other aspects of the online experience that should be available to your customers. So to create an online store in commerce website, you must first create an online store in FNO or a back office. For a channel, you would select a customer type depending upon an online channel type, like it could be either B2C or a B2B. We are using B2B as we will be using Adventure Works. And we are using B2B because we are concentrating on B2B today. And we'll use the Adventure Works throughout your journey. That way you kind of connect the dots together. After that, you decide the warehouse. Which warehouse will be utilized to fulfill that channel. One warehouse could be linked to a multiple channel, and you can also utilize your existing warehouse, create an SCM for B2C. As shown in the screenshot, multiple channels could be linked to a one warehouse or a one channel could be linked to a warehouse. But let's say it doesn't restrict you to that you have to fulfill from that warehouse. Technically, you can utilize DOM to see which warehouse could that order be fulfilled from. And then you would select your currency. We have selected USD. Then next is a default customer. Default customer is utilized to copy the data for any new customer which are created on the website. We did talk about the channel profile and channel database. You need to choose that, and that would be used to sync channel data from FNO to CSU. Or vice versa. The next option is price included sale tax. If you want to show up prices with taxes, then you would choose that option. Otherwise, you would set it to no. There are payment accounts. You can set up a payment account if you want to set up a third-party payment provider. The language, you can have a multiple language for your websites. Same with the country and region. You can add your website. You can have a different country and region defined for that channel. The next option is the financial dimension. You can set up a financial dimension if you want to post to a certain dimension depending upon those retail channel. Like for B2B, I want to post it to certain main account or other dimension. I could do setup right here. There are other multiple setup as shown on the screenshot of mode of delivery, payment accounts, fulfillment group, and channel database. We will dig into that. First, let's look at the email notification profile. Email notification profile is utilized to send notification for various events during the orders. Like when a new order is created or a new payment or a payment failed, you want to notify the customers so that they can get a notification. For that, you would create a notification profile and set it to active. That way, all those notifications could be sent. You can also set up a different payment method which you want to support on your B2B channel along with the ledger posting account. Like in this screenshot, we have set up 3 of them: cards, customer, and a gift card. I want my card payment method to be posted to a different channel. That could be done through here. Other one we want to discuss is a mode of delivery. You can set up a different mode of delivery for your B2B site, right? You can set up a 2-day delivery only for a specific addresses, or you want to exclude it for specific addresses. You can do all these things from here. You can even set up, say that these particular category will be only allowed for the 2-day shipping. The rest are not. Although this concept is for B2C, but you can utilize the same thing for B2B also. Now, we're going to talk about how you can configure channel. As mentioned, that every channel link needs to be linked to your CSU so that synchronization happens, right? So you can add more than one retail channel to a same channel database. So like here, we have added our channel to this particular CSU. The next one is the functionality profile. As functionality profile, you mentioned functionality profile only for that if you have multiple channels, you want to put the same settings for all the channels, then you would use a functionality profile. There are different settings specified here, like aggregate products. If you want to show the aggregation of product on your site, let's say if I add an item and I go back and add the same item again, if you want it to be aggregated within your cart, then you can use that. And there are different settings like that you can choose at the functionality profile. The next concept is the organizational hierarchy. So after you've done your site, as mentioned in the first one, you have done a functionality profile. Now you would add your channel to the organizational hierarchy. What is organizational hierarchy? Organizational hierarchy represents the relationship between the organization that make up a business. Therefore, the most important consideration when you model organization is the structure of your business. We recommend that you define organization structure from the feedback from your executive and the senior manager from the functional area. So before you create a channel, you want to ensure you have set up your organizational hierarchy. You can use the organization hierarchy to view and report on your business from various perspectives. For example, you can set up one hierarchy for tax. You can set up another hierarchy for some reporting and whatnot. So these are all flexible. In our case, we have added our Azure Adventure Works into the Contoso Retail because that's how we are defining the hierarchy for our retail business. Okay, now you have seen the headquarters setup. Now we are moving to a site builder setup. So after you enable the e-commerce from LCS, it is initialized. You can go to the e-commerce site and site builder from LCS as shown on the screenshot. So as you open the site builder, you would see that it will open a tenant setting. What tenant setting is applies to all the site on that tenants. And you can set up a security at the tenant level or also at the site level. So if you want to provide the access to the whole tenant, you can do from here. If you want to provide security only to a certain site, you can do at the site level. On Site Builder, we support all these roles: system administrator, web producer, reader, and moderator. Like web producer role can create pages, fragments, and different templates. And there are different features which you control at the tenant level, like omni-channel media management. If you want to turn on that feature, you can do from the tenant level setting itself. So from that tenant, you can create a new site. When you do that, you would actually select your site name and you would put your Azure security, a site administrator security group and channel. You would link your channel to that to new site, like we have done the Azure B2C. So we can select that Azure B2C channel from here. Then we can We can choose the domain and the theme. Out of the box, we provide two themes. One is AdventureWorks, another one is a Fabrican. We are choosing AdventureWorks, and then we'll choose the site type, which is Azure B2. We'll choose Azure B2B here, and then we'll create a website. So after a site is created, it shows as shown in the screenshot. We have created an AdventureWorks business site. On the left, you would see a pages and different modules. And below, you would see a site settings, tab, channel to modify. And you can also, as mentioned, there is a tenant level security and there is a site level security. So same way you can set your channel level security from here, site level security from here. And there are features which you can control at the site level. You can also create your own CSS and link to this website by using a CSS override. So last one is the extension on the left. Extension is for all the configuration for website. And the next step is to see how you can modify the channel. So you can modify from this channel. If you click on channels, you can modify the channel from here. You can change the online channel from here. You can also create a local copy. So let's say I want to create the one for Canada. I can create that local copy from here and choose which locale I want to do it for. And all the content of the site will be copied from the source to destination. These are the different configurations which are available at the site level. The first one is the theme. You can change the theme from AdventureWorks, or you can create your custom theme. So all these can be changed from right here. You can move your site to the maintenance mode if needed for some maintenance. The location-based store detection lets you provide the relevant site content to customer based on their location. So when location-based store detection is turned on, the commerce rendering service uses a country region information from IP address of the customer web browser to direct the customer to the best geographical site configuration that is available. So there are different configuration you can control from the site level, from the site builder. Here's some more configuration you could do from the site builder. Like if you want to enable a customer payment account payment, you could do for the B2B customer or disable it. That could be done from right here. You can also configure an order quantity limit. So there is as mentioned, there's a lot of configuration you could do from the site builder and save and publish. That should be available on your e-commerce website. Let's look at the page design. Like how do you do a designing of the page within the site builder? Because site builder is a designing tool. Commerce Site Builder follow the concept of what you see is what you get. So you can design a website with simple drag and drop. As mentioned, out of the box, we provide two themes. One is Fabrican, another was AdventureWorks. And if we release any new features, we provide fragment so that you can easily add those fragment within your pages and use the new functionality. By default, your Dynamics 365 site includes a module library that let you achieve most basic e-commerce scenario. You should be able to construct an end-to-end commerce website by using these modules. What is module? Modules are the logical building block that make up your page structure, and they could have a various purposes and scope. Like in screenshot, we are showing a home page. There are different containers. So containers are also a module. It could have a text block, it could have a content block, and we have added a header slot and the footer slot. And you would notice that we have a header that could be created as a fragment and could be utilized in all the pages. That way you have a consistency of the header and footer for your pages. And if you see on the right, in the content block, we have a text. So we can modify that text. We can make the color and everything. So this is kind of very intuitive and you can change the text easily. You can easily drag and drop the modules within each other. Like if you want to move the module from the generic to generic container, that could be easily done with a simple drag and drop. So that's how you can quickly have your site up and running with the design, because we provide a lot of fragments and module out of the box to you guys. This is one of the example of the unit of measure setup that could be easily achieved through a configuration. So first thing you would do, you would set up a unit of measure in F&O on product, and then you just change the setting in the site builder, which show that you want to display the product browsing and the buying experience of unit of measure. And as soon as you do save and publish, you would be able to see that unit of measure in the website. Now I'm going to hand over to Shalabh to talk about merchandising.
All right. So far we have seen how to deploy your e-commerce components. We learned about the basic commerce setup. We defined the channel, did some settings on the channel to meet your needs. And then we also defined the look and feel for the website. So the next part of the setup would be to talk about to configure your products, to configure the images of the products so that your site is ready for consumption. So let's take a look on how we do the merchandising. So commerce leverages the products which are defined in finance and operations. We use the same product IDs, everything remains the same. So there is no transformation or anything on the products that are defined. But we use those products and provide some additional capability to meet the needs of an e-commerce website. So we will take a look at a high level what those capabilities are, and then we will go a bit deeper into each one of them. So the first one is commerce product hierarchy, which enables you to group the products into categories so that it becomes easier for your employees to find the products to do their task. Just to reiterate that this hierarchy is only for your internal users and it is not displayed to your customers. And this is an optional step. But as mentioned before, that it can improve the product searchability, because if you categorize your items, instead of always searching and trying to remember the name, you could go to the category and find the product and take action on the product, like making any changes to the product, adding inventory, and so on and so forth. Next step is assortments. So assortments enable you to define which product should be visible in which channel. For example, we can define which product should be searchable or visible in AdventureWorks B2B channel that we have been talking so far. And this list of products are a subset of the full list of products that you would have created in finance and operations. Because sometimes you don't want to show all the products to the customers. You only want to show certain products on the e-commerce site. So you could use assortments for that subset of the products that should be available. The next concept is channel navigation categories. So this enables your online channel manager to create categories for a channel. Now, these categories are shown as a navigation hierarchy on the website and is visible to your customers. Again, the commerce product hierarchy was for your internal employees, for your internal ordering of your products. This one is an external facing hierarchy, which is defined for a channel. And the products seen here, products added here would be seen by your customers. The next one is catalogs. Now, catalogs is again an optional step, but what this provides is a subset of channel assortment and enables you to define that customer specific item list so that the customers can view only the items that are assigned to them. So it is further subdivision of the items that your buyers can see on the website. And it's an optional step if you want to. Otherwise, all customers, when they log in, they see the same products as assorted for that channel. The next step would be prices and promotions. So once you have defined items the way you wanted, you have defined how they should look up in the hierarchy. The next step is to define prices for them. And there is a lot to talk about it, which we will dig deeper into in a few minutes. And the last one is images and other media. So for your products, you want to associate images. You might want to associate some product manuals for your buyers to download or videos. So we provide a way for you to easily do that. And we will see that in detail as well. Okay, now jumping into some bit more details on each one of this. So commerce product hierarchy, as we said, is for your internal employees. And it's a cross-legal entity concept. So that is, you associate product IDs to the individual categories, which is a cross-legal entity thing itself, and not the item IDs, because item IDs is a legal entity thing. So for each category that you define, you are adding items to it. And then once you start browsing, you can find products by category. Okay, so moving on. For assortments, as we said, it helps define the list of products that can be sold in a channel. Assortments have a many-to-many relationship with channels. So an assortment can belong to multiple channels, and a channel can have multiple assortments as well. As you can see in this image, this assortment is mapped to multiple channels. Additionally, like commerce product hierarchy, assortment is also a cross-legal entity concept. But once you assort some products to a channel, we only show those products which are released in that legal entity. So you are working in the cross-legal entity in a cross-legal entity form. You are trying to define what products go in which channel. So you need to make sure that the items that are added, they are also released for that legal entity so that they can show up on the website. This assortment also makes it easy for you to add products in bulk, because you can not only add items, individual items, but you could add the entire categories to the assortment. So you could say, for this channel, I want to add all the sports equipments as a category to to the assortment. But it is also possible that you want to add all the items, but skip a few items, let's say, which are not doing good, or let's say you don't want that those items are not great to be sold online and you want them to be sold in some other channel. So you could add the entire category and use the exclude option to exclude certain items or variants from your assortment. So with assortment, now you are ready what items are available in your channel. The next step would be the channel navigation category. As we said, you are defining the category for navigation purposes on that channel. You would add the items to the desired categories to make sure whatever works for your business, whatever makes the browsing easier for your buyers, you would do that. And so, for example, let's say if you have two different B2B websites and they are selling two different type of items, let's say one is office supplies, one is professional cleaning supplies. So you could have different navigation categories in those two websites, and it makes it easier for your business buyers to find out the items that they are looking for. And of course, they can use the standard search experience as well, but this helps them through the category navigation experience. And we support one channel navigation hierarchy per channel. So you cannot have more than one, but you can have any number of nodes as you want. And the form that is used to link a channel navigation category to a channel, that form is called channel categories and product attributes. So just providing that information here, sometimes it's not clear because on this form that you're seeing, there is no way to associate channels to it. So the form where you associate a category hierarchy to a channel is this one, which is channel categories and product attributes. Okay, so with that, now your channel is also ready with the products and the navigation experience. The catalog management, as we said, it's optional only if you want to provide the subset of products to the business buyer. You can create this catalog per business buying organization. So you could say that I define unique set of items for each business, and you can create one or more catalogs per business. And when the business buyers log in on the website, they could choose from the catalog that they want to buy from. So catalogs are two types. One is the standard B2C and one is for B2B type catalogs. The B2B type catalogs are the one which will be associated to the business buyers and the business buying organization. You can also set up prices for these catalogs. And again, that's an optional step. If you only want to say, I'm restricting the items that you can buy, but I'm going to use my standard pricing mechanisms to control price, you could do that. But if you want to define prices for this catalog as well, you could do that as well. So that any user that is buying from this catalog, they all get the same price. And finally, before any changes are published to your business or consumer facing channels, you can use a workflow to make sure that there is an approval workflow for the changes before they show up on the external facing website. So with this setup in place, sometimes it happens that you see some issues coming up in your setup. So we provide a tool that can help validate your configuration. So that's called Merchandising Configuration Validator. So it will help you proactively find any issues in your configuration, and some issues like, let's say you have a channel which support 2 languages, right? Let's say for Canada, it is English and French, but you have missed to add translations for certain products. So if you run this validator, it will be able to figure out that these are the list of products that are missing translations. So you avoid unpleasant experiences for your consumers. So it provides you a pretty comprehensive list of rules that it checks, and just making sure that any problem that occurs can be caught before rather than later on in the process. Once this is validated, you have validated your setup. Let's move to pricing and promotions. So a commerce pricing engine leverages the existing trade agreements and sales agreement that you have created for your customers today. So if you already have created those, the commerce pricing engine will honor that. So if you don't do anything else and your business buyers are logging in, we will be able to identify that for this customer, this is the price trade agreement defined, or this is the sales agreement defined, and we will honor that price. But with the help of commerce pricing engine, you can do much more than what you get out of the box from the traditional supply chain pricing. So, and to explain that concept, the key thing here is the price growth, which you see in the first image at the center. So On the left-hand side of this price group, you have the various entities that could be associated to a price group. And if an entity can be associated to a price group, that means that you could define pricing and promotions for that entity. And hence, what we support using this combination is you could have a channel-specific pricing. So any customer buying in your B2B channel can get special price as compared to a B2C type channel, or a call center, or a store, or whatever channel you have. Similarly, catalogs, we did touch upon that you can, at a catalog level, there is a price group association. So you could have catalog specific pricing. Similarly, you have customer specific pricing. And then there is a way of grouping customers into affiliation and loyalty programs. So you could say that any customer that works for, or any NGO type business, if they are buying on my B2B site, I want to give them special discounts. So you could assign an affiliation to those customers, and so that our system recognizes that these customers belong to that affiliation, and hence they get this price. And same for the loyalty program as well. And the important thing is that we provide ways of defining priorities. So you could say the highest priorities is the catalog, the second priority is my channel, third priority is my groups. You could play with that priority and define how should the system choose which, if you have created prices and discounts at multiple levels. On the right hand side of the same image, you would see the prices and discounts. And basically what that means is this shows all the prices and discounts which can be associated to a price group. And hence the prices and discounts would be available in the appropriate entity, that is channel, catalog, customer, or affiliation and loyalty programs. And once you have done all this setup, we also provide you a tool called Price Simulator, where you could add items and validate the prices that you are getting. Is that correct? You could add a customer to mimic the sales transaction and see whether the discount and prices are coming correct, or you could just test it without a customer, without a specific customer, and just test it in general, that whether the pricing and discounts is coming up correctly or not. All right. And finally, the final step is images, setting up images to your products, images and other media. So in the site builder, which Meenu touched upon, we have this tool called Omnichannel Media Management, which allows you to bring in the images for the products. And you could have a channel specific image, or you could have a general omni-channel image. And some use cases for that would be that, let's say for the same product, you might want to show a different image in one country, but you want to show a different image in another one. So you have those kind of flexible options as well. We automatically handle the imaging, the resizing of the images based on the device that the user is using. And interestingly, you could also create a swatch out of the product image. So you could just zoom in on an image, and you can capture a portion of that image and make that as a color swatch and make it available for your users to easily see that, okay, the product is available in these different size, color styles, and these combinations of colors as well. And finally, we support these bulk operations via bulk exporting and bulk importing. So you could take these actions in bulk. So that concludes the merchandising setup. And with that, you have now channel ready, you have your product ready for navigation, you have images and other medias like PDFs and videos. Let's take a look at how we handle the data modeling for your business buyers. This is not a part of setup, but this is something important to understand how things are working underneath. So let's take a look at how we manage this relationship between buying organization and buyers. So customer hierarchy is the entity that helps with this linkage. So the screenshot that you see on your screens is an example of a customer hierarchy, which is created for a business called Microsoft Purchase. And this is your buying organization. And then you have in the hierarchy nodes, you see some of the buyers of the organization. So this is a way for you to link a buying organization and the buyers within that organization who are allowed to buy from the B2B e-commerce site. It is required for each buying organization to be a part of a hierarchy. Only then they can access a B2B site. Else they are not considered a business buyer and they will not be able to access the B2B site. Now, as you can see, in the catalog section here, you could assign zero or more catalogs to a buying organization. If you don't want to work with catalogs, you only work with assortments, then all business buying organizations will get the same items. But if you specify catalogs, now these are the only catalogs that I can choose from while as a buyer, while when I'm browsing through the website. Again, coming to the hierarchy section here, as an employee, as you who's managing the website, you can add, remove users on for the business buying organization. You can change their roles from admin to user, and the business buyer admin can do it themselves as well or via the e-commerce website, which we showcased in the previous tech talk. So coming to the sales group section here, like this represents the group who is authorized to order on behalf of this business organization. So that is, you could say you have a sales account, you have an account manager who have access to this organization, and they can log in on behalf of any of these buyers like Mona or the DRX Demo 3 account or any of these buyers, and they can place orders on behalf of them. Or you could give this permission to all customer service representatives as well, so that they can handle any issues during the calls as well. So it's configurable who have access to log in on behalf of and place orders. And once you do, basically we clearly show that this order was placed on behalf of someone. And finally, all these actions can be done in bulk as well. And we have listed all the data entities for using which you can manage. If you want to import your existing business organizations who might be using your existing B2B site, so you could use these data entities for these bulk operations. And finally, on this same screenshot, you see the channels. Basically, if you have multiple websites and you want to control that this buying organization can only buy from one channel and not from other, or one site but not from the other site, you could control that access via this customer hierarchy model. Moving to some upcoming changes, which are an important one to clarify. Based on the feedback from our supply chain customers, the feedback was around that they want to use the customer and contact model for defining the buying organization and the buying employee relationship. So the current, on the left, as you see, the current data model is the buying organizations are created as a customer record of type organization. The buyers are created as a customer record of type person, and they are linked with the help of customer hierarchy. But in future, we are working on this and in planning to release sometime by 2024 wave 1. You would have that the buying organization would remain as a customer record of organization type, but the buyers would be the contacts of that organization. Now, from functionality footprint perspective, nothing changes. I think with the new data model, it makes it very easy for you to onboard on the B2B website. But even with the current model, you can achieve everything that you can do with this new model that will come up. So for example, in this existing model, even though the buyer one is placing the order, but the invoice can be sent to the buying organization by using the invoice account. The buyer one can have the same addresses as the buying organization addresses. So buyer one can ship to the address which is of the buying organization address. You can have the same prices for all the buyers by using the same price group on all the buyers as the buying organization. But on the right hand side, all this comes for free, like all this comes automatically. Because if you add a new, let's say, address to the buying organization, it is available for all the buyers because they are a contact of that organization. So you don't have to do that manual adding of address. You don't have to do the manual creation of price groups at the buyer level because pricing can only be done at the buying organization level. So the capabilities wise, there is a parity, but definitely the new data model would simplify this all these experiences. But you don't have to wait for this one to come to get released, because we will provide you a migration strategy. We'll provide you a migration path to move from your existing data model to the new data model. Because we have existing customers who might want to move as well. So we will provide you a path that you can, with minimal disruptions, you would be able to move, leverage the newer data model. So with this, I think this completes the setup scenarios, any important backend capabilities that you would need to understand what is happening on the B2B side, how things are working. Let's take a look at a very high level of what business buyer sees, what capabilities are we offering. And to to start with that, I'll just provide that with the capabilities that you're going to see shortly, the B2B e-commerce enables the entire prospect to cash business process for you. So starting off from the onboarding on the B2B portal, which could be done from either the portal itself or from the back office. It's both ways. Once the onboarding or request has been submitted by the buyers, potential buyers, the request comes in the all prospects form, and the people who are managing these leads can take an action to approve or contact with them to get more information. Once the business buyers are approved, they can view these items on the website. They can sign in and see their catalogs. They can place orders for fulfillment, and they can place the orders, or your employees who are allowed to order on behalf of, they can place orders. And finally, once you have fulfilled that order using the standard supply chain mechanisms for fulfilling, an invoice is generated. That invoice would be visible on the website for your business buyers to view it or pay it directly on the B2B website. And we covered these in details in the first Tech Talk, whose video is available as the link in the later slide. But next, we will just do a quick 3-minute video, which not only covers the B2B aspect, but also touches upon how you could use it for direct to consumer scenarios as well, because our B2B site uses the building blocks of B2C. So let's take a look at a quick 3-minute video.
Introducing AdventureWorks, a global manufacturer and reseller of high-end outdoor equipment and apparel. Let's see how Dynamics 365 Commerce can empower customers to cross the digital divide and have compelling shopping experiences across retail channels. Meet Aaron, an online content creator for the AdventureWorks website built on commerce. In preparation for the holiday sales season, Aaron has been asked to enrich a new set of products. First up is the Neptos backpack. Using Copilot in Commerce, Aaron leverages the product data to instantly create engaging marketing content. Aaron is always in control with Copilot and makes a few minor adjustments before publishing to the web. Meet Karen, who is at her home in Seattle preparing for her big trip to Hawaii. She and her husband can't wait to set off, but she still needs to pick up a few items that will make the trip even better. While shopping on the AdventureWorks website, Karen finds a new swimsuit and a pair of sunglasses that are just what she is looking for. With lots of day trips planned for the beaches and volcanoes of Hawaii, Karen will need a new backpack to carry her gear. Using the search filter populated by product attributes, she can quickly find the right bag in the right color. Landing on the Neptos backpack product page and reading through the enriched content, she feels this is the bag for her and adds it to her cart. The AdventureWorks Seattle store is near Karen's office, and she prefers the convenience of paying online and picking up her purchases in the store the following day. Meet Andrew, a sales associate at the AdventureWorks flagship experience center in downtown Seattle. Andrew is preparing last night's online orders for pickup throughout the day. Using Store Commerce's mobile retail solution, Andrew knows exactly where the products are in the store and prepares them for Karen. Andrew takes a moment to review Karen's clienteling profile, which is available in the Store Commerce app. Using the clienteling feature, Andrew can learn more about Karen's purchase history across online and in-store purchases, her buying preferences, choice of complimentary beverage, wish list, and next best actions to promote sales. But commerce is about more than enabling streamlined consumer retail transactions. It can also enable compelling business-to-business scenarios. Meet Mona, a primary business buyer for Northwind Traders, a high street retailer who carries AdventureWorks products. Mona is preparing the Northwind stores for the upcoming holiday season and wants to ensure she is including a selection of AdventureWorks products. Mona is logged into the AdventureWorks B2B portal and selects the Northwind's catalog to see products and pricing that are unique to the resale agreement between the two companies. Mona sees the new Neptos backpack and after learning about it, thinks it'd be a great addition to Northwind's product line. Using the matrix ordering view, Mona can quickly order a range of colors and sizes with just a few simple mouse clicks. Mona believes the Neptos backpack will be a strong seller for the Northwind store, so she adds it to her reusable order template, making future orders faster. Mona adds the contents of the order template to her cart and checks out using Northwind's credit line. A month later, all of Mona's products have arrived, and she logs into the AdventureWorks website to retrieve her final invoice in PDF format for Northwind's purchase records. Mona can also quickly pay for her order online using Northwind's procurement team credit card. Satisfied that Northwind's has a great selection of AdventureWorks products for the upcoming holiday season, Mona moves on to her next procurement task. As we have seen by leveraging the power and capabilities of Dynamics 365 Commerce for omnichannel retail operations, AdventureWorks can sell direct to consumers in-store and online.
All right. So with that, it concludes the main portion of the presentation where we talked about the setup. We talked about, as a video, we saw what capabilities your business buyers experience. So as we said in the beginning, that this Tech Talk was a part of 3 sessions, and the next session would be about the implementation consideration if you're considering deploying B2B portal. So please join us for that session as well, for learning more about what things to be considered before you go live with the portal. And then you have these references for various artifacts where you can learn more about commerce in general. You can see some more videos as well. And at the end, we have also added the video for the last Tech Talk, which was given a few weeks ago. So with that, I'll pass it on to Rob for any concluding thoughts.
Thank you everyone for joining this Tech Talk. Thank you to our presenters, Meenu and Shalabh, and thank you, the audience, for attending our Tech Talk today. We hope you have a great rest of the day ahead.